everyone, my name's Lisa Emslie. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator. Thank you for joining me today. Today we are going to make these little gift bags. This one here has a set of 4 notelets and envelopes in it, and when I made the set of notelets I was looking for something a little bit different to put them in, so I came up with this. This one doesn't have anything in it because obviously you don't have to put notelets in it. It can be used for whatever you want it to be. So this is what we're going to make today. So to start with, we are going to need a sheet of DSP, designer series paper or card, that measures 10.5 by 10.5. This particular piece of DSP is from the By the Shore series, which is the same as this piece here. One thing you will have to take note of is which way you want your pattern to go before you start scoring. So for example, on this one I wanted the shells on the main part of the box to be facing up the way, so I made sure that when I first started scoring that the shells were facing up the way. For this piece of DSP, I would like the pattern to be going along the way, like this. So this is the way I'm going to put it for the first score lines. So let's get started with the scoring. As I say, this is the way I want the front of my bag to look, facing this direction. So I'm going to start with the paper, the pattern facing this direction. And I'm going to score at 1. Oops, went off a little bit there. 4 3/4. 5 3/4. And 10. Then I'm going to flip it around this way and score at 1 and 6 1/4. Don't worry about trying to take a note of the measurements. I'll make sure I put them in the notes underneath this video. Okay, so scoring there. The next thing is we want to burnish and fold and burnish our lines. So I will just quickly do that. And the last two are the ones in the middle. That one didn't quite want to fold. Okay, so now I'm ready to start trimming off the bits that I don't need. Now, before you start cutting, take careful note. You can't really see it that way, so well, let's turn it around this way. I'm hoping you can see, but this back end of the box is wider than the front end. The sides are tapered in. So when we're cutting, we want to make sure that for the flap that goes over the front, we are keeping the widest part, not the narrowest part. So the widest part is this bit here that we want to keep. And before we cut that, it's going to have a look at the bottom, and you want to just snip your lines ready for your base. Now when I do that, I just take a little snip in as well, just to make a little tab. It just makes folding up a little bit easier. And the same in the middle. Again, just a little cut in. This one here. This one here, you don't need at all, so this one can come completely off. But this piece here, that sits at the back, we're going to trim that quite a bit in, because as I've already said, the front of the box is wider. So so we don't want the wider part at the bottom overlapping and showing the corners. So that's our base sorted. Now we need to remember this is the widest piece that we need to keep. So first of all, we're going to cut off this narrow bit here because we don't need that at all. Okay. And then I would just double check before you do any cutting that you're aware to leave the larger piece here and cut off the narrower piece. So we're going to cut up the side of this wider piece right up to the score line there. If you can see it, it's difficult to see on this paper actually where the score lines are. And then you're going to do the same here across the score line. There it is. Just give it an extra fold so I can see it clearly before I cut it. That's better. Right, and I'm going to cut straight up that fold line. Okay, and we can discard that bit. We don't need that piece. Now the other thing I did as well, I don't know if you can tell really from this box, is I actually tapered this front flap in very slightly. You don't have to, but I felt that it looked a little bit nicer tapered in. You could actually use a ruler and make it nice and neat, but I think I'm just going to eyeball it, and I'm just going to taper it in just gently, not too much, but just enough so that it looks like a slightly neater finish. As I say, you don't have to do that, but it's just something I felt added a little bit to the front of the box. Okay, now we need to start putting it together. I'm going to use a glue runner to put it together, and if you are using the box for notelets, for example, a glue runner is strong enough. If you wanted to put something a little heavier into your gift box, I would recommend you use a stronger glue, maybe some double-sided stick and tape. So I want to glue down this side here, make sure it's nice and covered, and I want to glue this piece here. No, I don't. I want to glue this piece here. I got a little bit muddled up there for a minute. Okay, so first of all, take this piece over to fold. It takes a wee second, but just make sure you get it. Sorry, I didn't want to go off camera there. Make sure you get it nice and lined up. There we go. Okay. And then for your bottom bit, if you can see, I'm just going to fold those bits in and then flap down that front piece over the top. Okay, now that is the actual box made. All we need to do now is decorate it. So the first thing I'm going to do is make this little tag on the front, and to do that I used the Hello greeting from the Jar of Love. That's this set here. It has some really nice greetings, but I really like the Hello, so that's the one I'm going to use. And I'm also going to use one of the little flowers, this one, from the Petite Petals stamp set. So, first of all, I'm going to stamp my Hello in mint macaron because it matches the colour of the gift bag. And I want to make sure I leave space around it so as that I can cut a circle out. You can see from the last one where I already cut one. So I'm going to put that about there. Perfect. So I'm going to be using a circle die, this one here, to cut around the Hello, and the scalloped circle die on a piece of Flirty Flamingo, and these both come from the Layering Circles framelit dies. It's a lovely set. So I'm just going to pop this through the big shot and I'll just take it over so as you can see it really is a very quick job. It takes no time at all, which is why I love my Big Shot. I'm going to put that on there. I'm hoping that you can see that okay on camera. Put that in there and just run that through. Oh, everything's sliding away from me. Okay, perfect. Really does just take a second. Now we're going to pop these over here, out of the way just now. So I have my hello here, and I'm just going to use the glue runner and stick that onto the centre. You can see my mat keeps sliding about today. Hopefully you can see that's just going to sit nicely in the centre. Now I'm going to take another scrap of Whisper White to do my petals, my flower. This time I'm going to use Flirty Flamingo and Mint Macaron. And I'm going to stamp 2 of each. And I'm going to turn it around so that I'm stamping that near the edge, because I'm going to punch them out later, so I need it to be near the edge. And I'm just going to pop them, 2 of those there. And just give this a little bit of a clean before I use my next colour on it. Okay. And again. Okay, perfect. I'm now going to use my Petite Petals punch, which goes with the stamp set, and I'm just going to punch these out. Sometimes you have to turn your card around a little just to make sure that the punch is sitting in line with the stamp. Okay, now when I'm using these little flowers, before I stick them on, I do like to give them a little bit of dimension. And to do that, I use the flat end of my piercing tool and my piercing mat, and I just press down on them, and it just gives them that slight 3D effect, so they don't sit completely flat on the project. Okay, so I'm going to stick this on with some dimensionals to make it pop out a little bit. Oops. That should be enough. Pop them off. Okay, and I'm going to stick that down. Let me just check how it lines up. I'm going to stick the stamp out here, I think. Okay. And the flowers, I'm going to first of all put on some pearls onto the front of them. I like to put a little bit of bling on a project, not too much, but just a little. Oops, that one doesn't want to stick. And the last one. Now I'm going to use glue dots for this one. I'm just going to put one there. It doesn't really matter where you put them, just put them wherever you think they'll look nice. And another one next to it there. And inside, just that little bit. And on the top bit here, I'm just going to pop them just here, like along the top. I'm going to put that one there. Maybe too high up, maybe a little bit lower down. Let's pop that one there. And the next one, just next to it. Now, the last thing we have to do is the ribbon on the front of the box that holds it all together. So you will need a circle punch. I'm using the 1/8 of an inch one, but you can use whichever size that you think is the right size you need. I'm going to kind of go to the centre and then slightly along. So then I'm going to go back to the centre and then slightly along. So they should end up roughly even in the middle. Now I've taken a piece of Flirty Flamingo ribbon because, sorry about that wee blip everyone, my tablet ran out of storage. So as I was saying, I've taken a piece of Flirty Flamingo ribbon because it goes lovely with this mint macaron. And I'm going to feed it through here. I can, it's a rather small hole. Okay. And I'm going to make sure I leave myself enough to tie the knot round. Wrap it right round the other side and back through the other hole. I would advise at this point, if you're making this as a gift bag for a gift, that you pop the gift in before you do the ribbon, because otherwise you just have to untie it again to get it back, to get the gift into the bag. Okay, I'm going to feed that through just a little bit more. I don't want to waste ribbon. Okay, that should be enough. You want it to be quite tight because you want the ribbon actually holds the box in place. So you want it to be reasonably tight, but you don't want it to be too tight because then it won't look very nice and it'll maybe misshape the box. Okay, so I'm happy with that. You could tie a bow here if you want. I'm actually just going to tie a wee knot because I'm not very good at doing bows. And I think a wee knot actually looks quite nice as well anyway. So I'm just going to do a wee knot. And then I'm going to snip the ribbon. Okay. And that's it. That's your box. Ready to put your gift in, or your set of cards, or whatever it is that you would like to put in it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please check out the information underneath where you'll find the dimensions that you need to make this box, and also a link to my blog. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.